Hi, this is Inform TV 100. Happy March. Today is March 1st, 2024. This is Inform TV 100 News. Inform TV 100 bringing you trending news. So, today I have two stories. I'd like to do my first story, but before, please hit the like button. Please hit the notification bell so you will be notified of the videos of Inform TV 100 news videos. However, it is not a perfect system, and I would really appreciate if you do not get a notification from me to go onto my site and check for new videos. I post videos every single day. I will be posting news every single day, either 12 or 6 p.m. with a 1 hour grace period. So please, if you do not get a notification, please check my site, Inform TV site, for new videos. It's not a perfect system, and the notifications are pretty reliable some of the time. So I would appreciate if you check for my videos every day. So please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. So I want to get into my first story, and this is really heartbreaking story. And this is why when I tell this, read this story, you will see why this is a safety part of a safety news segment, why we really have to be careful of who we are around, who children are around, and we just, you will see after I read this really heartbreaking story. So this was a dad in Oregon. It's a place called Lake Oswego. He was indicted after allegedly drugging girls at sleepover at his home. A Lake Oswego man was indicted by a Clackamas County grand jury Wednesday on charges stemming from an incident where he allegedly drugged three girls at a sleepover last year. On August 26, 2023, Lake Oswego police officers were told three 12-year-old girls were being treated at Randolph Children's Hospital after a report they had been exposed to an unknown prescription drug while at the sleepover. Officials investigated further and found that 57-year-old Michael Meaden, the host of the sleepover, was responsible for administering the drug to the girls, authorities said. And this story has been fact checked by Inform TV 100. I will never post anything or a news story without checking it with several sources. So this is a true story. Mayhem Maiden was charged with 3 counts of causing another to ingest a controlled substance, 4 counts of application of a Schedule 4 controlled substance to another, and 3 counts of delivery of a controlled substance to a minor. Soon after the indictment, authorities say Maiden, he is in mayhem. Maiden turned himself in at the Clackamas County Jail, where he is currently being held. The girls said that They were giving smoothies that seemed a little bit odd, that it had chunks of something in there. One of the children did not want to drink the smoothie because it had these sediments, chunks of things in it. So he remade it. He made her another smoothie. And the three children, they started to feel really weird. They were in his basement, and he went down to the basement, put his finger under one of their noses to see if they were still breathing. Uh, the one child that was at a child at the sleepover called their parents and asked the mother, text the mother to pick her up, and asked her mother to tell the host of the sleepover that she had a family emergency and needed to be picked up. So all the parents arrived at this person's house where the girls were. The girls were sedated. One of them could not walk, and they came over to pick their children up. He initially refused to let them in to get their children. He said that they were sleeping. So the parents forced their way in and got their children and took them to the hospital where they had their blood drawn, and they found drugs in their system. And one was so sedated that she could barely walk for 12 hours. So his own child, there was they did not find any drugs in her system. So we need to be careful who we trust dropping our children off, and even ourselves. This is Inform TV 100, but he is in jail where he will remain. So, my next story is a trending story, and this is about Congress. Congress passes short term funding extension to avert government shutdown. A partial shutdown would have started this weekend if Congress had failed to act. Congress passed legislation Thursday to prevent a looming partial government shutdown, extending funding for federal agencies later into March, and teeing up another mad scramble over policy and spending negotiations with another shutdown deadline, only about a week away. The stopgap spending bill, known as a continuing resolution or CR, cleared the Senate by 77 to 13 vote Thursday evening after winning House approval by a 320 to 99 margin in the afternoon. The legislation pushes the funding deadline to March 8 for several agencies, including the Department of Veterans Affairs, Transportation, Energy, Agriculture, Interior and Housing and Urban Development, as well as environmental protection agencies. Financing for most of those agencies was set to expire Saturday, just after midnight. Funding for the rest of the federal government under the bill expires March 22nd, 2 weeks later than under current law. The measure now heads to President Biden's desk for his signature. What we have done today has overcome the opposition of the MAGA hard right who wants to shut down the government, to promote their person with the 91 felonies to return to office. So, what we have done today has overcome the opposition of the MAGA hard right and gives us a formula for completing the appropriations process in a way that does not shut the government down and capitulate to extremists. Senator Majority Leader Charles Schumer, Democrat, said on the Senate floor just before the vote even a partial shutdown would have sparked broad cascading effects across the government and economy. Air traffic controllers would have gone unpaid, potentially contributing to travel delays. Food stamp programs could quickly have run low on funding. Housing assistance for millions of families could have fallen into jeopardy. The House approved legislation to extend the expiration date for federal funding late into March. Lawmakers said Thursday's bill was better than a shutdown, but still just a small consolation. Congress was supposed to have several appropriations or spending bills for the rest of the fiscal year ready to pass by the end of the week. Instead, bickering over policy demands pushed the federal government to the brink of shutdown again, necessitating another stopgap spending bill, the third since September, to buy more time. The appropriations process is ugly. Democracy is ugly. House Speaker Mike Johnson, Republicans, said Thursdays. Democrats, fed up with House Republicans' foot dragging and temporary spending bills, agreed. If that's what it takes to get this done, then let's do it. But this kicking the can down the road crap really does need to stop. Senator John Tester of Montana said. The top Democrat negotiator on the defense appropriations bill said Wednesday. Let this be our last continuing resolution. Representative Rosa DeLauro of Connecticut, the Democrats' top House negotiator, said Thursday on the House floor. The government funding process was supposed to be far less fraught. Biden and then Speaker Kevin McCarthy, Republican California, last spring agreed to constrain federal spending for the 2024 fiscal year, which began October 1st and ends September 30, in exchange for suspending the debt limit. But far right lawmakers in the House grew furious with McCarthy for not extracting deeper spending cuts, and they ultimately ousted him from the speakership. Republicans elected Johnson as his replacement in late October, and the Louisianian has struggled to navigate spending debates ever since. In November, he steered the House to pass stopgap funding bill that staggered funding deadlines for the federal government over 2 dates, then pledged he would not consider another temporary spending. In January, he and Schumer agreed to a 1.7 trillion fiscal framework adhering to the limits set by debt ceiling agreement, then passed another short-term funding bill to allow appropriators sufficient time to negotiate individual line items. But last week, the speaker told Republicans on a conference call that the spending bill he had worked with Schumer had plenty of singles and doubles conservative wins on spending and policy, but not home runs or grand slams, which many right wing lawmakers have insisted on. Those negotiations dragged on too long for Congress to have spending legislation completed before federal funding. We know finding common ground would not be easy, but we've made progress and need a few more weeks to finish drafting the bill, said Republican Kate Granger, chairman of the House of Appropriation, and Thursday. And then I have a quiz for my Inform TV 100 news listeners. Uh, what president do you think that had the highest debt ceiling? in history. Guess who? Well, I'll give you a hint. It was a Republican ex-president, and he has been convicted. He has been indicted, sorry, of 91 felonies. That administration had the highest debt ceiling ever. And how hypocritical of anyone to blame the current administration for spending when that last administration gave all the tax cuts to millionaires and billionaires. And in some states, now this is getting a little bit away from there is a particular state where their elected officials shamefully got rid of the free lunch program for children and gave themselves raises for their lunch outings. True story. This is Inform TV 100. Have a great day. Have a nice evening, and we will be back on for more trendy news. God bless you. Know your numbers, get your tasks. As Joe Madison says, what are you going to do about it? The great Joe Madison, what are you going to do about it? These current issues that are going on. We want to think about what are we going to do about it. And I have a quote, a new quote. And the new quote is, remember, there is always power in unity. God bless you. See ya on the next video. Bye for now. Bye.